time for another project. Bought this mini bike for $100 on Facebook Marketplace. Let's fix it up. Before you call this a good deal or not, let's take a closer look. Obviously somebody's been ripping this bike on the road. We got a 212 on here, a really nice paint job, a little tear in the seat, and looks like somebody's really been putting it to work. For starters, we're missing the foot pegs, kickstand has no spring. This chain is very much not aligned and is rubbing on the secondary clutch. Yes, somebody painted this black. And of course we're missing the pull start. As per usual, we're gonna try and build this bike on a budget. Now I could just buy a torque converter kit real quick, throw this together, get it running, maybe give it a paint job and call it good. We're gonna tear this thing down, and actually we're gonna get rid of the 212 altogether. When it comes to size compared to the gold mini bike, this bike is huge. And I'm sure a 212 is adequate power, but why not put a 13 horsepower engine on there? But first, while we're tearing this thing down, we're gonna try and fix the little things, get rid of anything we don't need, and try and fix the fenders. By the looks of it, valve cover is definitely going to make contact with that, and I don't really want to lift the engine a whole bunch. The support beam's got to go. Much better. Couple things with the motor. Obviously this cover, I could just cut it off. I can't unbolt it. It's actually the side cover of the engine. But I'm almost wanting to save it temporarily to see if I can use it as a clutch / chain guard. Number two, obviously this is a tapered shaft. As you can see, I've drilled and used a Dremel to grind out a keyway, and I'm going to weld a bead around the end of the shaft here and grind it down to be 1 inch. And with that, I am going to try a centrifugal clutch here. The other mini bike with the 10 horsepower, I'm actually quite pleased with the clutch. So we're gonna try it on here before we buy a torque converter. Maybe we won't have to. Out with the old, in with the new. If you're new to the go-kart, mini bike, mower community, and you've never swapped a tire before, let me show you how I like to do it. You're gonna need some screwdrivers, most importantly. Soapy water never hurts. First, you want to take all the air out. Give her some soap. You can do this with the sprocket on. Sometimes it gets in the way, but this one seems to be just smaller than the wheel. So I think we'll be all right. Now what you want to do is take a screwdriver and start working the bead of the tire off of the wheel. And sometimes these can be a real pain in the butt. Once you break one side free like that, flip around to the other side. With both beads broken, we're going to go to the side without the sprocket. We're going to start dismounting by pulling this top bead up around the wheel using several screwdrivers. I'd recommend screwdrivers that are round rather than square so that you don't dent your rim. So just use 3 more screwdrivers if you need, and work the bead up around the tire. Like so. Now, I like to go from the other side here and start working the wheel almost out of the tire, if you will. Sometimes if you're lucky, you're able to just grab the tire, pop it out like so. Not the tire, the wheel. Now with your new tire, or in my case slightly used, you want to make sure you get your direction right. Soapy water really helps with installing too. You can sometimes kind of work your rim into the bead a little bit, and then with just a couple screwdrivers, you can get that first bead up and over. Then go ahead and flip it. For tougher tires, like slicks or anything with a shorter sidewall, I recommend putting some vice grips on the side of your rim and working in one direction. But because this tire is so soft, should be able to hold this wheel down while I maneuver the bead up and over onto the rim. Just like so. And that was a fairly easy tire to do. A ratchet strap can really save you some time if your bead is squished. Put your ratchet strap in the center of your tire, like so. Give it a couple cranks. It'll force your bead out, and if you're lucky, sometimes it'll bead up. Just like so. This tire was super easy, and they usually don't go that well, but I'll take it. Let's throw this back on the bike. Well, I was putting the rear tire on, I was able to adjust the brakes real good, and now we're going to start mocking up the engine. Got the chain all routed up. Now I'm going to start working on this side cover for the clutch. This was the side piece off the generator. With that, I ordered a throttle cable and a muffler. While we're waiting on that, we're also going to work on the gas tank. When it comes to mufflers, I don't venture very much, but I bought this off Amazon for 20 bucks. We're gonna give it a try. Using the old flange of the massive old muffler and a little bit of pipe from the generator frame, we're gonna rig some up. All I gotta do now is weld some foot pegs on. This fender Jake gave to me is a metal one, and I think it fits much better. I was never a huge fan of these fenders because they seem to be the wrong shape and they just never look good. So what we're gonna do for the rear is take this front broken one, because it's gonna have to be short anyway. We're gonna try and make something look good back here. I'm gonna take a guess and say this is geared a little too tall, but it's time for a test drive, so let's go find out. All right, here we go. definitely geared way too tall. That was fast. Clutch slips for a good while, but probably because the gear's so tall. Oh man, that pulls! Dang! Alright. Doesn't like full throttle. You gotta ease into it. Alright, let's get a top speed. That is way too fast. 64! Oh my gosh. This is meant to be a trail bike. You gotta try this bike. Alright, pop the squat. Let me make sure your angle's good. I'll be back. Alright, so even if my free speedometer is a few miles off, this thing's way too fast. So what's next? Obviously, we need a gear reduction. The mid-range, that needs to be fixed. I don't know if this is primer bulb situation, but if we can't remove that and make it better, we're gonna throw this 26 Nibby round slide on there. I think I'll do that either way. And a paint job. This thing will be ready for the trails.